Okay, let's talk about the first war game that happens in Chapter 3 of On Basilisk Station in the Honorverse. This game is based on a children's game called Capture the Flag. In the children's game, two groups of kids become armies that are opposing each other. Behind their armies, they each take a flag and they stick it in the ground. And the object of the game is they have to get one of their soldiers has to get behind the enemy and grab their flag in his hand. Once they get past the enemy and grab their flag in his hand, they have captured the enemy's flag and they win the game. So in this war game, the planet Manticore is the defender's flag, if you will. And the goal of the game is the aggressor fleet has to get past the defender fleet and approach the planet very close, and at that point they, quote, capture the flag and win the game. So the defender fleet has to prevent Dorville's fleet from reaching the planet. In this setup, the defenders are given a chance to arrange their defense first. So Honor at the planning meeting suggested a sneaky plan to Grimaldi, and Grimaldi convinced Hemphill to go with this. And this is the plan. Hemphill's main fleet is out front waiting for the enemy to arrive. Honor's ship is alone behind the main fleet, powered down, very low power, and sitting there quietly and waiting. Away from the main fleet is their super dreadnoughts, a squadron of their super dreadnoughts. Super dreadnoughts are very powerful, what we call capital ships. They're big, they're powerful, they're well armored, they have huge guns, they're very destructive and very deadly. But being big and heavy, they're slow moving. So this setup makes it look like Hemphill rushed out to meet the enemy at high speed, and they inadvertently left their slow-moving super dreadnoughts too far behind them. So that's the impression they hope to give the enemy when he arrives. And this is all part of an elaborate trap, a deception. So once the defending fleet is ready, they tell the game master, "The defenders are ready, sir." The game master then tells the aggressor fleet, Dorville, "Aggressors, you may begin your attack." So Dorville begins moving his fleet towards the Manticore star system. Okay, finally the aggressors got in system and they meet the enemy. So the two fleets, once they get within sensor range of each other, within detection range based on their instruments, they can see each other's ships on their radar screens. Now these ships are far apart in space. They can't see each other with their eyes. They can only see themselves as blips or dots on a radar screen. So they begin scanning each other and assigning bogey numbers. Bogeys. So the defending fleet is going to have bogey 1 through 20 designated in their war room. Whereas the attacking fleet, they're going to have 10 plus 6. They're going to see 16 enemy ships. So they're going to have bogey 1 through bogey 16 on their radar screens in their war room. They can't see Honor's ship because her ship is hidden behind the impeller wedges of the main fleet. So right now she's invisible to the enemy. So they assign bogey numbers. At the moment, they don't know the ship's names or commanding officers, but they can determine based on their EMR radiation fingerprint if it's a small light ship like a cruiser or a destroyer, or if it's a great big heavy powerful ship like a dreadnought or a super dreadnought. So they can kind of assess the relative strength of each other's fleets. Now, because Hemphill's spy was more successful than D'Urville's, Hemphill has one small advantage. They know the fingerprint of D'Urville's flagship, the HMS King Roger, and they identify which of the attacking fleet's ships that is. So they know what ship contains D'Urville, who is their fleet commander. He's the one giving orders to the fleet. So they know where he is. They know what bogey he is. Let's call it bogey number 3. Bogey 3 is the flagship of the enemy. So they send this information to Honor's ship, and Honor says, okay, so D'Urville is located right there. So Honor repositions her ship a little bit to better fit their trap that they have planned for D'Urville. So D'Urville comes in, and his chief of staff advises him and says, sir, we've met the enemy. Looks like they have 16 ships. The main fleet's in front of us protecting the planet. Looks like they accidentally left their 6 super dreadnoughts way behind. They went too fast to meet us, and the slower moving dreadnoughts got separated. Their main fleet, sir, is relatively weak. We can wipe out their main fleet with no trouble. Oh man, Hemphill's really stupid, said D'Urville. Let's continue moving forward at 50% light speed. We'll smash her fleet. Now Hemphill's going to pretend at this point that she's just noticed, uh-oh, I left my dreadnoughts behind. Oh my God, I've got to turn around and go rejoin them. Otherwise, I don't have a chance. So she turns her fleet around and moves to rejoin the super dreadnoughts with the enemy in fast pursuit. Once D'Urville's flagship moves close to where Honor's ship is sitting quietly, hiding in the dark, not giving off any energy because her impeller wedge is turned off, once he gets close, she springs her trap. She fires the gravolance, destroys the flagship's sidewalls. She launches her energy torpedoes, wow, and destroys the flagship utterly. The rest of the attacking fleet is stunned. What was that explosion? What just happened? Oh my God, the flagship is gone. And in that momentary confusion, whoosh, Honor escapes at fast speed because her light cruiser is very fast. She powers up her impeller wedges and takes off at high speed. Meanwhile, the ships are moving through space, so they continue their pursuit of the defender fleet. Now notice at this point, D'Urville, before he got destroyed, could have chosen to ignore the defending fleet, and he could have just gone towards the planet and captured the flag without even a fight, with no shots fired at all. He could have done that and easily won the war game. But Honor was counting on his vanity. If he did that, there's no glory. She knew that D'Urville was such a vain person, he would ignore the main mission, and he would go after Hemphill's weak fleet to destroy her fleet first and get some glory from battle, and then he could, at his leisure, walk up and take the planet. So she knew Dorville's personality, and they planned this into their battle scheme, okay, their battle plan. So his orders were to smash the fleet first and then capture the planet. So now that his ship's been destroyed, the fleet is continuing on his last known order, which is smash the defending fleet and then go capture the planet. So they close on the defending fleet. It doesn't look good. They don't have their super dreadnoughts yet. So Hemphill now hatches the second part of her plan. The blue ships are moving slow because they were at full stop. They were waiting on the enemy, so they're speeding up faster, whereas the red ships came in fast and continued that speed. So the red ships are moving fast, the blue ships are moving slower. They're speeding up, but they're not as fast as the red ships yet. So the red ships are closing the distance, if you will. Now, slow-moving ships can turn in a shorter distance than a fast-moving ship. So at this point, Hemphill now orders her ships to turn. And they turn their broadside missiles to face the enemy. Recall that the enemy, the impeller wedges, have an opening in the front and the back. The sides are well protected. The top and bottom are impenetrable, but the front and back have openings in the impeller wedge, and those are points of vulnerability. So at this point, in this configuration, it's almost a cross the T configuration, where the missiles from Hemphill's broadsides can now shoot almost straight down the front opening of the pursuing ships. They're coming in at high speed. They can't turn quickly. So she launches a massive missile barrage. Bam, bam, bam! Some of the missiles go through the openings and destroy some of the attacking ships. Then she turns her ship around, and they continue moving towards their super dreadnoughts. Another surprise shock for the Red Fleet, but they continue moving forward. So at this point in the war game now, the Red Fleet has lost their primary commander. They've lost some additional ships. Perhaps those were super dreadnoughts. Now Hemphill has rejoined her super dreadnoughts, and now the battle is more evenly matched. Now Hemphill's fleet has a chance to defeat the aggressors, whereas before she had no chance. They were outnumbered and outgunned. But their surprise tactics have weakened the attacking fleet and robbed them of their commanding officer. So now the Red Fleet has a secondary person in charge, but presumably not as skilled as the fleet commander. Now a ship commander is in charge who may not be good at managing a large fleet in a war game. So this trick has at least evened the odds, where the two fleets are now evenly matched, and the greater skill is going to win this game at this point. Okay?